We got an emergency. So I have two phones. This phone, I dropped, and the camera, it shattered over the darn camera. This is not a good look. I ordered something on Etsy, and they sent this as a surprise. This is when you know you really like knitting, that you make a holder for your chapstick. It's actually sort of awesome. You can like hook it. If it didn't have this thing, it looks like one of those like macrame plants. Oh, it's open. Should I be worried about that? Somebody's trying to poison me. Hello. So my teenage sons are home, which means my husband has moved into my space. There's a little tiny towel. It's compressed. What does that mean? Let's look. Kate Swenson is joining us tonight, and I don't think Carrie is, because Carrie, I did the video a little bit later, and Carrie, look at that. It's a towel. Ooh, when you look at it, it gets bigger. I'm losing my... Kate, try again. It showed you, and then you disappeared. Strange. It was strange. What did you order to get that? I don't even know. Nothing. Darn, let me try again. Here she is. Proof. Yes. Carrie kept saying hers didn't work. Ours usually, Kate and I usually do fine with it. Look, see? Oh, hello. I hate to tell our friend Carrie, but I don't think she's the expert at adding people.
Every time's like the first time.
She'll always be like, oh, I don't see the request. I'm like, oh my God, I see it. There's 100 there.
Everyone on here sees it.
We all see it. I started commenting last week on other people's. I was like, I'm right here. They were like, she's here.
How long did it take for you to join?
She never could get me in.
Oh, you never joined?
No, I tried for like 40 minutes.
Well, I don't have that kind of time.
Well, I know, but I felt bad. They were like, where's Adrienne? I'm like, I'm here.
And also there's nothing worse than like trying to talk when you're like trying to get people in. It's like I sweat. And I could public speak to anybody and I'll sweat when I'm trying to like get people in.
Well, you're right. It is annoying. Yeah. I don't know what it was. A lot of times it's my fault because I try to join from my page.
So do I.
And that clearly does not work.
I'm using my ring light. It's my first time, so don't make fun of me. You guys all have technology. This is my first time.
I'm going to turn mine on.
Yeah. You're looking a little, rough.
Ah, the light.
Well, maybe turn it off.
That's too much light.
Not good.
I feel like I just turned into a gremlin. I was like cute and fluffy, and now I'm in the movie theater going. No trifecta. Carrie, it was my fault. I changed the time to a little later because I wanted to get Amos in bed since we are way off our schedule, and I was not successful. So it's all right. He is watching television.
Oh,
right now.
He's still up? I'm choking, by the way, if someone wants to send something back.
I got him in the shower at 7:30, and at 8:45, I gave up from the shower to the bed.
Whoa. I just posted a thing. Do y'all see it? Oh, wait. Oh.
Where'd she go? Oh, wait, there she is. She's putting her link up here for her thing, Jiggy. Oh, let's ask her to join the broadcast, and then I'll pin her comment. Kate is doing...
That was weird. We're having a retreat in May. Adrienne was the first choice to come and join us, and she's very busy with her family, as she should be. But come join us. It's in South Hill, Virginia. It's gonna be super fun. It's gonna be just like the best. And guess who's coming? Tara from Peace Love Autism and Lauren from Channing's Joy. And me and Amanda DeLuca did a Zoom with them. They're like the youngest, funnest, prettiest. You want them at your table. Like these
That is so true. Oh,
it is so true.
I didn't know they were both coming. Peace Love Autism that just got their page hacked and back. That Peace Love Autism?
Nope, that's Love Hope Autism. Tara's the one that sells the awesome clothes.
Yes. I know her. And obviously I know Lauren.
She's in Texas. And then Lauren's, have you met Lauren? She's near you. She's in North Carolina.
I don't think we've ever met in person, but I feel like I've known her a long time. I mean, we message and stuff. But
what I love is, so Tara joined us first, and then Lauren hopped on, and let me just say, she's probably the prettiest person I've ever seen. I'm being serious. She is the prettiest person I've ever seen. And she hops on, and she's like crying. She's like, my son broke his iPad, and like, it's so hard. You know, we all can relate to the iPad breaking. And she's like, it's just defeating. I'm just tired. And it's like, it was just, she texted me after. She's like, thanks for letting me cry. And I'm like, we're with the perfect group. Like, we're fine. Yeah.
Right. Oh, and she's sort of like you in a way, even though she's younger.
Young and hip.
And hipper. I'm more hippie. She, like in the hips, not like hip. She has two toddlers too.
She's a little baby, like a brand new baby, a freshie.
And Channing is pretty little still. He's like not much older than Harbor, probably, right? Six-ish. So she has 3 kids. So that's pretty ballsy to have. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yep. And I think it's just, I mean, I can fully say parenting is kicking my butt right now, and we just go through these periods of time where it just kicks our butt.
And people order things like this.
Is that film?
This is film.
What are you going to do with it?
I don't know. I didn't order this. My children did, I guess.
Do you have a camera to put it in?
I'm going to smell it, though. Do you remember how it had a good smell?
Yeah, no, but if you open it, it can't work, right?
Frick. Well, now you tell me.
Well, no, but you'd have to open it, though, to put it in.
Put it in what? I don't have a camera.
Oh.
I don't know why they bought this. They just left it in here.
Okay, tell us all about your trip.
So this was, you and I talked a teensy bit. We went to Jackson Hole, the big 3 in Amos, and I was telling you this earlier because Blair was like, Amos hadn't been on family vacation with us in 7 years or something. And I was like, yes, he has. And she was like, no. I said, we go places. But she was like, he hasn't been on like a family adventure with us, which is true.
Yeah.
And it kind of, there's always a lot of guilt, or I always feel a lot of guilt.
Constantly.
Just to be totally honest, I feel guilt. And
on both sides.
Yes. I
Neurotypical
feel guilt to leave him, guilt to take him. Guilt. And
never ends.
Yeah. And so this time I wasn't planning to go. It was going to be my husband taking the 3 of them because I was going on a trip last week and I didn't want to leave Amos for that long. But then I was like, he's off 2 days of school. Maybe I'll take him. And because I wasn't planning to go, it wasn't like I had all these things it wasn't like a family trip, right? Because I wasn't even going to be there. So it made it easy. And it was so good.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't, as you know, it wasn't perfect. I mean, we had some problems. But it was good enough. And he loved being there. And loved being with them. And I think they really enjoyed him. He didn't have any we didn't have any big, problems like where we had to leave something that they witnessed, I guess. And it was just really nice. It was really nice. It made me, I don't know, my oldest is graduating. And so then I was like, can I take him to that? and I was thinking in my head, like, okay, no, because in this trip, if Amos like wasn't going to go to dinner, it was fine. I had planned like I wouldn't go either, right? Where I can't do that at graduation, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading the comments. Everyone's saying that we're freezing, but I'm not noticing it.
No, I'm not either, and I'm basically sucking on the modem in here.
Okay.
Um, no, I said like my son's graduation. Somebody said, "Well, do you think you can take him to graduation?" And I said, "No, because this time it's graduation is I can't just opt out of the dinner for graduation, right? There's no opting out. Where I can opt out at the ski trip to not go to dinner.
Yes.
It's not such a big deal,
Yes. Yep.
And that's the part I think that people don't really get is the the juggling part and the importance of it, of what it means to the I don't know. I'm not very
Can I tell just really quickly?
Yeah.
Not at the graduation level. So next Saturday is Sawyer's end of the year hockey party, and they're pretty fun. Like they're very fun, and so there'll be
Right.
like 12. How many boys are on the team? 12 to 15 boys. The siblings and a lot of big families, moms and dads. And before I got the notice about the party, and I didn't look where it was at.
Where is the party?
So when I first looked, I just saw the notice and I didn't look where it was at, and I just assumed it was at the coach's house. I assumed. So I was doing a story, and I was like, it's not. We have never, and I'm being bold when I say never. We have never just went somewhere. There's always a thought that has to be thought through. So like, let's just say it was at the coach's house. Cooper's a wanderer and he loves bedrooms. He will not stay where anyone's at. He will go in their stuff. And these are nice people. So I want to be clear. They're nice people. But if I was to bring him, I would not socialize at all. And I wouldn't see Sawyer.
Bingo.
And there's also the embarrassed component. Would Cooper or Sawyer get embarrassed if Cooper gets in coach's bed and lays down before I'm there? So there's all these different scenarios. So then I like looked at the thing and I saw that it's actually at this local restaurant, this like pizza place, which is a definite no, because it'll be so loud. Like Cooper's only been to 3 restaurants and it's 100% attention on him. So it kind of made me sad. So Jamie RSVP'd 2 people, either Sawyer and me or him and me, or him and Sawyer. And it's just, there's never any ease. We don't have any ease. Do you feel that at all?
Yeah, I think it's the always having to be thinking about it.
Like I said in my story, I'm like, if you, and I wasn't saying it in a scoldy way. I was just like, if you ever just like all go places, you're really lucky. I know it's not easy if you have toddlers or all like all the things, but if you can physically go, you're really lucky.
Right.
I think it's okay to say that.
Yeah. And you and I've talked about this because I said one of the reasons Amos could go on this trip with us is because he is the youngest and I have 3 teenagers. And I was saying to you, I've always wondered, like, is it harder if they're younger or harder if they're older? And to me, it's harder for you because you have this toddler era and autism. Like I could no more take him skiing if I had 3 toddlers I was chasing, because I had 3 people to help me with him, right? There was nobody I was caring for. What was I saying there? There was something else.
Well, a bunch of people are saying that Kate could use help. And so, yes. But
Kate
here's
knows
all
this.
But here's yes. Taking applications all the time. But here's the other layer of that you might not understand. Cooper, to this day, only responds to me if we are out in the community. Jamie, a little bit. Jamie's a great dad, but me. So if we have a nanny, let's just say hypothetically, or a babysitter, they're going to be watching Harbor and Winnie. So I still we just went to this cabin for 3 days, and I don't want to get scolded for this, but all my attention had to be on Cooper the whole time. I actually had this a couple pings of guilt that I wasn't riding the 4-wheeler and I wasn't doing those things. But that was the only way we could be successful, was if I gave Cooper 100%.
Yeah. And I think, I think our instinct is to be like, well, why? Or you need this, or you could do that, or take the babysitter, or let Jamie try it. And I think we really want people to know that we are really trying, and we want that more than they do.
Trying and tried everything.
We want success. I pulled out because we wanted to go to dinner as a group the other night. And my daughter was a great idea. Blair goes, well, why don't you let him, he can play with my phone. And I said, well, I have my work phone. I'll let him use my work phone. We had a great dinner. He ate his cheeseburger beside me. He played a silly game on my phone. It was great. I thought, this is a nice thing. We can do it. Well, you know what's happened all day today?
What?
He's been on the freaking phone all day.
Just takes one time. I always say with Cooper, it takes just one time. One time
It's
to
like,
be the
it's like
norm.
fentanyl.
Yes, it is. Yes. And people don't understand that. Like it used to be like if we took one way home, we had to go home that way every time. Or if we did it this way, it had to, until it reset again. Yeah.
So tomorrow is going to suck because we're not keeping doing this. We're not going to sit around on this phone for 14 hours every day, you know? And with a typical kid, it's not a problem, you know?
No, not with my kids. No.
No. You can be like, give me the darn phone, and they hand it over. They're not like, shut up, effer.
So, like, to give an example, okay, so just kind of quickly. So we just rented this cabin for our spring break. We went up north and stayed on a frozen lake, well, special times, with no snow. And then our friends rented the cabin next door. So it was 2 Airbnbs. It was perfect. So we were, whatever. We made the mistake of picking the wrong cabin to make the home base for Cooper, because the other cabin had like this big open area with foosball and air hockey, and he did not want to go over there because he had his home base. So, of course, Jamie is a great guy, and he would come over and he'd be like, I'll sit with Cooper, you go. Then Cooper follows me, and then he's a little stinker. It's the same reason I can't talk to doctors. It's the same reason I can't talk to teachers if he's in the room. It's attention-seeking behavior. Jamie's like, let's go to the car. Let's go do this. He will not separate from me. And I know we're working on it. We're doing our best.
Right.
And it's not like he's a 3-year-old toddler that I can throw over my shoulder. He weighs more than me. Mm-hmm. If he's following me, there ain't no stopping him.
Well, that was one thing on this trip. I said to little Thomas's ski boots were too small. He hadn't worn them in a couple years. Anyway, they were too small. I said, well, we got to go get him new ski boots. So we were going to go to this like consignment shop, and I said, I'll take him. And he was like, well, I'll take him. And I was like, you know what? No, I want to go. I want to go do this with him, because I wasn't skiing. I was in charge of Amos. So I was looking for ways to spend time with them, other points. And he said, well, that's fine. And, but he said, well, really, it came out that he said, but he's not going to go with me.
Jamie says that all the time.
And, so it wasn't that he didn't want to, but I think he didn't want to feel embarrassed that his own child wouldn't go with him. And I said, yes, he will. And I will say on this trip, I felt like Amos was sort of on, I don't know, best behavior, because I don't really feel like he cares that much. But he was definitely a level above where he's been. And I don't know if it was just that he was so happy to go and be there, that he was a little more willing. You know what I mean? It was like he knew, I better keep my together, because this is a trial period. And if I'm no good on this trip, I ain't going on the next one. Really. And I meant that. Like, if we went and had a terrible time, the next ski trip, because I do have somebody to keep him, and he might not love it, but like, we're not doing it. And he just followed Thomas right down there. And then the first day we got there, I had a video, and I had to do it. It was my like Pew Research teen technology thing. I said, that's going to happen. We've been planning and talking, and you're going to take Amos to the pool. And I think we were both like, is he going to go to the pool? Will he go? what are we going to do? And he went. And we were both sort of shocked.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it, because if they don't go, they don't go. I mean, anyway, they're not babies.
No. And they have Cooper he can say no when he has thoughts and opinions. And I often talk about this on my supporter page. Truly, I don't know how much control I really have anymore. It's like a thin veil, meaning like if we're walking and he sits down on me. So this is actually a funny story. So I always take my kids into the woods for hikes, and they hate me every time, and then they end up loving it.
Right.
Not Cooper, but the other kids. That's what you do in Minnesota. You go in the woods and hike. So at this cabin, we were trying to waste some time, so we went to this Moose Lake State Park, and I thought the loop was just little, like, let's go for a hike. It was 1.5 miles. Cooper sat down on me 4 times. At one point he took his shoes off and refused to walk, and I had gotten left behind. I was like, go, everyone, just go, I will walk with him, I'll go, I can motivate him. He took his shoes off, so we had to switch shoes because he wouldn't put the other ones back on.
So you
I had
extra shoes.
I gave him my shoes. We switched shoes. We were the same size. But
what shoes did you have on that he liked?
He didn't like his because he thought they had gotten dirty, even though we walked through the same stuff. I mean,
yes.
But I can't make him walk. There's nothing I can do. It is like if you were in the woods, you would die. Like, I'm like, if you want to go on that Amtrak, you better get up, mister. And then, 1 second later, I'm like, should we go on the Amtrak? Go on the Amtrak. Like, I was like, everything you could think of. I'm like, like, I start to panic. He's always walked him. He's always gets up. But, I can't move him.
Well, I can't even move Amos. And he's not husky like Cooper, but he is
They're
long,
slippery little octopuses.
yeah, long, stringy. And we were, we did skiing, and we had this this wonderful ski instructor. She was so cute. Back when you're full of hope. And the
Oh, yeah.
Teton Adaptive, which was awesome. They're like, we have, this adaptive person, and my husband's trying to get him to go to bed, and he's been on this extra phone all day. So now he's foul, which is why we can't have technology like that, because it puts him into the spawn of the devil.
The
acting.
meanest Sawyer has ever been to me is when I've tried to take away technology, and he has turned into like a devil. And I'm like, what's happening?
I remember that with my typical children too. Like, who are you?
Like, this is not normal.
Yeah. So the ski instructor is like, are you going to go with us, or what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to go with you, because
I'll be with you. You're going to want me here.
You're going to want me here. And my son Thomas was like, well, maybe he'll do better if you're not there. I was like, well, that's true. He could. I mean, I'm willing to get that. But like, him on skis, one person ain't enough. So we were skiing.
I think of Bambi on the ice.
Yes, but he wasn't as Bambi-ish as you would have thought. But he did do a couple things where he can somehow like lay totally backwards on the skis. And at one point, and he didn't want my skis touching his skis. So anyway, she was trying to get something hooked to his skis, and he got loose, and I cut him off, and stopped him. So then the next day she was like, we're going to buy your lift ticket, because I told, or the head of the group said, we're happy to buy your lift ticket, because she said you helped a lot.
Yes,
I was like, it took 2 people. But at one point he fell down in the snow, and he starts taking things off, the gloves.
Oh, that's what Cooper does. That's what Cooper does. Yes.
It's like really
game over,
making a point of like, I'm not doing this. Well, you're in the middle of a ski slope, laying down.
That's like us in the woods. That was us in the woods. Cooper sat in the woods.
And I was like,
your shoes off.
In ski boots. We can't get those suckers off. But like, if he decides he's not doing this, he's not going to do it. It's not happening. So I did the same thing. I was like, Amos, and then I switched and I was like, oh, you can't get me. I bet you can't catch mommy. And I think people think like we are so patient and
We're
kind.
dying on the inside.
We're
We're dying.
desperate. It's a level of desperation. It's almost like you become mommy dearest. You so sweet and sound nice, but you're sharp.
What's happening right now? It's like you have someone on a bridge ready to jump off and you are throwing everything you can and you're sweating, but you're looking very calm.
That is exactly what it is.
Negotiator.
It is. It's like being at the bridge.
Negotiate with terrorists.
There's sometimes that I said to you, do you ever say something to like somebody with typical children and they think you're crazy? And this child was like laying down or something. She was like, oh, I can't get him to walk. I was like, oh, you can get him to walk. And I said, I had Amos if you hold someone's ear, you can make them stand up. I mean, because if you don't stand up, it hurts, right? And this person was like, that looks like that really hurts. I was like, it doesn't hurt if you walk.
What did she say? She's like calling CPS.
Looked horrified. I mean, I'm like, and he was going, you're hurting me, or like, my ear, ow, ow. And I was like, then walk, just walk. You'll be fine. Walk.
Yeah.
Walk.
Cooper has this like, I call it a wail, like a guttural like scream. It's not high pitched. It's like from his throat.
Let me hear it.
I can't mimic it. I try on my supporter page, but I can't. And you would have thought someone was being murdered in those woods. And I'm like, we're fine. Nothing to see here. Enjoy your hike. We're fine.
Well, little Thomas and Blair, evidently, we were like being spied upon by our family, but they didn't want to get too close because they were afraid, I guess, that they thought it might look really terrible. So everybody was really hopeful he was going to do great. But basically, all of us thought it was going to be a total flop. But we were trying to. And at one point, Thomas and Blair must have ridden by like on the gondola, and they were like, we saw him laying in the snow. And it's true. I sent you a picture, like, here he is standing up. In the next picture, he was face down and just laid in the snow. And I went and sat in a chair. I mean, I was like, I mean.
So that's something that you learn, parents that don't have kids with autism, you learn to wait them out. So, and this is harder for my husband. I think it's harder I've heard it's harder for other dads too. Cause like, they're like, fix it. Let's just get this over with. And Jamie can't pick up Cooper anymore. So like, you have to learn to play your hand. So I just sit down. I'm like, when you're done, sir, when you're done.
Because you will always lose.
Yep.
There is no winning,
there's no winning.
And I noticed tonight I was doing a subscriber video. Amos was in the shower. He got out and I got him dressed and I was still like talking. And I said, okay, let's brush our teeth. No, brush our teeth. No, brush your teeth. And I get the toothpaste and I'm putting and he's still yelling and hollering, like walking into my bedroom. Come stop brushing my teeth. And he comes over and I brush his teeth. I mean, it's the weirdest, strangest thing. You wouldn't believe it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I don't argue with him. I used to, I think. And then it just escalated everything. So it's like, you can never drop to their level or it's really going to go bad.
So the other thing too, and Carrie talks about this a lot. I don't know if you have this. I have had to learn to be very calm.
Yes.
So
it's not a natural state for me.
I want to be clear. I don't have this with my other 3 children at all. So this for us is purely an autism
Totally
thing.
agree.
Okay. So like,
I mean,
here's an example that I give you. So and what I mean by this is that Cooper is so tied to me that if I start to escalate, he will always match me. He'll go one higher. So one of the stories I tell is that one of the kids, like, this is a long time ago, colored on our new like cloth chairs with like crayon or marker or something. And my husband takes that stuff very seriously, like very seriously. And he he went to like a 10. It was like an explosion of like, and I was like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm like, we'll get it out. I will go. I mean, I was so annoying. I was like, we'll go on the internet and like search like how to like get this out. And my calmness made him so mad. Like, he's like, why? So like it turned into this argument where he's like, why don't you care about our nice things? Like, why don't you care? And I looked at him and I was like, I am so angry right now about that chair. I picked it out. But if I was to yell at you, Cooper would come over and kick me or hit me, or, and there's nothing. And so like it's affected. People think that I don't care. I care,
Yeah.
but I can't.
Yes.
Do you get it? I mean, do you have that too?
100%. And not as much with my husband, but with myself. I think sometimes I get like false accolades, like you're so calm, or look, somebody right now is saying I admire you both. Like, it's so nice, Brenda, to say that. But we are not martyrs. We are not being pious. Like, we are doing what is necessary. And yes,
To
Carrie
survive.
says you're matching the state in the room. And I know that there are parents that are not like us, but I can't imagine when I do get upset, and occasionally I do. I mean, I will have
did today.
Yell, even a little yelling, and not even at him, but even yelling at someone else. And Amos just falls apart. Don't be mad.
Yes.
I'm sorry. He'll cry. I mean, it's just so much worse.
There's nothing worse, and for many reasons, than me yelling at the other kids and having them get upset, because Cooper will out upset them.
Yes.
And it's not like and I don't mean that in the sense of like a competition. It's just so upsetting for him that like, oh, it's so hard. It's so hard.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's the difference in Cooper and Amos with the anxiety piece of it, is that they're upset because they're feeling so anxious. Mm-hmm. And like that feeling of anxiousness, if you're anxious and you want somebody in your life to be like, you might call me anxious, or I call you and you're like, it's okay. We've got it, right? Yeah. Like, I don't call you and say, I was hacked, and you're like, oh my gosh, what are you gonna do? I'd be like, I don't know. You need, okay,
what are we gonna do
right
here?
Yeah. And so it makes sense that it's really tough on them when we're not even in calm, because it's coming from a place of anxiety, not in a different way.
I just had like an epiphany while you were talking, because my two little ones, my 5-year-old and my 2-year-old, have just been naughty lately. Like, I mean, they are just, I call Adrian all the time, tell her I have the worst kids. Like, they're the worst, foul velociraptors.
So what she says is, I think there's something wrong with my kids.
I say it all the time. And she's like, oh my gosh,
but they're
so bad.
Did say they just walk around and tear things up. I was like, that is unusual.
So before I finish the story, they found a roll of wrapping paper today and shredded it like a paper shredder, and then hid it under the kitchen table.
The two of them are very naughty together.
Real bad. Mm-hmm. But my epiphany that I just had is, I wonder if maybe my problem is I'm not disciplining them enough because I don't want to upset Cooper. Maybe that's it.
Well, and then Debbie just said, do you think the siblings know this and take advantage of it, knowing you can't or won't yell at them and discipline them? What I thought you were going to say is, have you never really had to discipline anybody, because you can't discipline Cooper or Amos in the same way? Like, I had 3 typicals first, so I did all my regular parenting, and then I had this situation, and it's very different. I don't even know if I would know how to do it the next time around.
Well, I've always said, so Cooper's 13, my autistic guy, and then I have an 11-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. We never figured out how to discipline Sawyer successfully. And we've had coaches say the same thing. Like, sitting on the stairs was one thing we did, taking things away. Like, no matter what we did, it never seemed to bother him. Like, he's like, okay, fine, whatever. Oh. I'm starting to feel that way with my 5-year-old too. Like, Like they kind of like laugh at you.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
looking for a book right now?
I am. Can
Yeah.
you tell? But I can't find it. Hold on. Let me look. If I get hurt.
Oh gosh.
Where is it? Stuck on
I
it.
wish someone would depants you right now. Just kidding. Joking.
Somebody has stolen it. Yeah, I was looking for my book. My
Guys,
neurons.
my kids are disciplined. Don't overcorrect. They definitely are disciplined.
I was
I'm just
looking.
saying if maybe, you know, I was just thinking out loud, like in the moment, you know, there's
This,
yeah.
this is a
Oh,
book that I have not read, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But it's called Nurture Shock. But it looks kind of like the book I was looking for, which is called Neurons to Neighborhoods. And Kate and I were talking about this earlier, and I was like, I learned like I had my degrees were all in like basically parenting, right? Child development, and this is what you do. Well, none of it works for Amos. None of it. It's all, and so Kate and I, this is like a funny thing that I'm curious, when we were talking about it, Kate, earlier, yesterday when we were leaving, Amos was anxious because we were leaving. And I know this now. And he was saying, we're going to fly on Emirates and we're going to Miami. And before I would be like, no, we're not. And then he would fall apart. And so now I'm like, yeah, that's right. I mean, we get to the airport and we're going to fly on Frontier. We're going to fly. And the
right.
American Airlines person is like, you're going to Miami as we're like getting on the flight to Chicago. And I was like, no. I said, just go with it. She goes, okay, have a nice trip to Miami. I was like, thank you. We pull into, I mean, it goes on the whole until we pull into the driveway. And he knows that we're not going there. So he knows it's not, I used to think, does he not know? Maybe he doesn't get it. No, he knows. He just is trying to make himself feel better. Like if you're trying to convince yourself of something, right? Like, I'm going to be fine. I love salad. I don't like French fries and ranch. I like salad. Salad is wonderful. I love salad. Or I'm going to get French fries when I get home. So I'm going
Yeah.
to eat the salad knowing that I'm going to eat my French fries.
Yep.
Um,
So
do
we
you
have
have
this.
that too?
So when Adrian said this out loud, it like blew my mind because so our equivalent to that, obviously we have nonverbal, but it's very similar. Cooper is going to take the Amtrak for 2 sleeps to California. He's going to go see the whales. We're going to eat in the dining car. We're going to have chicken nuggets and strawberries. Now, I've literally had people, I mean, the whole thing's on his whiteboard. And like his teacher's like, are you guys taking the Amtrak in a few days? I'm like, no. But I tell him, and he knows we're not going, but yet we talk about it all the time. And then he'll get to the point where he'll laugh and he'll just erase it. And he's like, oh, he'll erase it. But I thought I was doing harm by appeasing him, but I don't think I am. I think it's helping him.
No, it is. But the child development
It's
people would tell you,
insane.
you don't do that.
Yeah.
So is it like obsessiveness? Is it obsessive compulsive?
I
Is it
imagine it feels good. Like it's like because you'll watch him, he'll be like, Amtrak 2 sleeps, whoo, whoo, whoo. And I'm like, yes. And he's like,
right? Yes, like we pulled into Raleigh and he was like,
yeah,
we're going to Key Biscayne. I was like, yes, we are.
be there in
He's
5 minutes.
like,
But
where's the
when did
sky
you figure
turning?
out? My question for you is because I figured out that Cooper knew we weren't going maybe 3 months ago, meaning like that it was like this big part of development. Like I was like, he knows we're not going. When did you figure out? Was it this trip?
No, I knew it before this trip, but I didn't. It has not been that long. I would say
Cooper
it's been in
either.
where did we go? When it was really hard was when we went on that cruise and we got back and he was hyper obsessive about going somewhere again. And I was like having a freak out because I was like, do we go on another trip? Do we not go on a trip? Do I take him anywhere? Like he's driving me freaking crazy. And
Mhm.
I wasn't playing the game with him because I
Mhm.
didn't want to lie and be like, we're going in 100 days. So it's probably been since Christmas that I've learned. Like tonight, he said, "How many sleeps till Kiva's cane?" And I said, 9. And he was like, 9 sleeps. Now, it's not 9 sleeps. And he loves to count down sleeps. But I'll wait till he's in a better mood and be like, oh, well, he likes to start under the number 10. Like
Yeah.
38 is something that is not possible.
And we're talking about Christmas. So Christmas, yep. We listen to Christmas music for 2 days. He wants 10 presents. His birthday's December 6th. So
when did the Christmas get started up again? I thought y'all were focusing on, well, you have the train. One trip leads into another. There is never, ever enough.
2 days ago, Christmas started. And you know what's funny? My friend Sarah in our Autism Moms group chat, she said her daughter's been listening to Christmas music. And she's like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's something in the air, but it did snow today. So I wonder if that's why.
Well, and when we were in wherever we just went, Jackson Hole, the trees were lit up. And he said, ooh, it's Christmas. And I was like, oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And Blair was like, do you see Santa? I was like, I'm going to take your tongue out right now if you start into that. I'm not getting into the Santa business in March.
So one thing that we do, though, for Cooper, and I think, you know, I don't know if this is right or wrong either, but Cooper asks for so few things. I'm being serious. Like, he does not ask for a lot, that we have a lot of like fake birthday parties. Well, just now that we have a lot of autism friends, it's new to us. We have this big group of friends. We have parties and they come over. We don't need presents or anything. We just have them come over and like we'll get a cake and balloons, and he's so happy. And it's like, why not? Life's short. Yeah. Why not?
That's really nice.
We do it a lot.
He's in there arguing with my husband. Yeah, that's interesting because,
people are always like, well, do you do that for your other kids? And like, my other kids get so many things. You wouldn't even.
And he does.
Every one of my children is spoiled.
Love a cake, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Okay, I'm going to go put him to bed. And then can we go on the subscriber page? Just give me like 3 minutes. Yes.
Fine. If I must.
You must. Okay. Thank you all, though. That was nice.
Okay, come to my retreat, please.
Help me.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.